Can you please invest some time spent on rendering so you have reasonable renders which don't look like they've been made on Nintendo 64? Hello and welcome to your weekly news dump. My name is Artem, I'm CEO of Akord Properties. This is a weekly news from real estate in Dubai, investment and finance, and anything else I found interesting. Please like, subscribe, press the bell icon, and let's get into the news. This week, most of things happened this Friday. This Friday we've been filming a piece on where I took the top 10 list of areas which are raising interest from millionaires in Dubai and tried to cover all 10 areas, and obviously we couldn't cover all 10 neighborhoods in a day. Should have expected that to happen. Not sure how that been surprising to me, but oh well, it's a lot of traffic. Missed a couple of exits, the normal stuff, right? And it's actually really cool because at the end of the day, you refresh yourself on the very important bits. You see how the areas develop, you see the new stuff. For example, MBR District 1 is one of my best favorite areas, which people for some reason overlook. And so much happened with them, so much new there. The buildings which I've seen just starting to get built are already finished. The lagoons expanded. Incredible, absolutely incredible to see that happening. But also, I nearly had to drive into Marina, and I hate that. And also, my car is breaking down. Don't buy Ram. Reminding you. We'll keep reminding because the guys won't even call me back on their issues, which I had raised with them through call and complaint. Unfortunately, incompetent service. What can we do? Otherwise, the market's going fast. Right now, actually, we've seen more distressed deals appear, and our distressed deals project is really booming. We're doing a lot of messaging. People are buying it very quickly because, well, it's discounted real estate. Not really free, but discounted, right? And that's kind of a unicorn in Dubai still. But not sure how good of a sign it is, but some people are trying to get out of real estate, and we've seen a couple pessimistic articles. I believe they're just looking for clicks and dramatizing things, but some people decide they want out, and they're right. The problem is they get out with a loss because they're in a rush. Otherwise, it's a normal week in the office. Actually been relatively quiet otherwise. I'm about to get my broker license actually, which I'm excited about. Need to pass my exams. But nothing more really happening at all. Let's get into the news. So the first news piece is actually an interesting opinion piece. It talks about the thing we haven't discussed all that much on that channel and in my social media, but very important nonetheless. It discusses the service charges. And what is service charges? It's essentially maintenance fees you pay to the company to maintain the building, because we know all those buildings in Dubai, they come with a lot of amenities, with pools, with gyms. All of that costs money to maintain, right? And obviously, a certain amount should be charged, but at this point, we actually starting to look into the service charges, and they eat into investments. They've been quite inflated lately, and if you look into that, they eat into your investments, right? It's the money you have to pay for service charges as a landlord. That's the standard way it's done in Dubai. Is landlord pays the service charge. Is the money you're not getting back on your investment, and therefore I'm all pro better investment deals for my clients. I'm all pro lowering the prices. But we can see that the prices are rising for two good reasons. One is the expectation of service is much higher in Dubai nowadays, and you would see that you expect better stuff, more educated stuff, right? More trained stuff to maintain the building. You expect higher quality and higher class amenities, bigger pools, better outdoor areas, more greenery, and all of that will cost you money. That needs to be understood, that all the fancy stuff doesn't come free. The position is that, oh, it's free in your building. It's not free, it's already paid for by you. That's a little different. The other side is because the properties are so expensive, the management companies decide that they can pull more out of you. And that is not true. It doesn't matter how much you invested, doesn't matter how much money you make, shouldn't make an impact on how much you pay. The services you get should be the only thing which impacts how you pay. So always when you evaluate the property, service charges should be an important part of your calculation, should be an important part of the maths done when we're projecting the investment, maths done when we're projecting maintaining your house if it's personal purchase. All of this is extremely important, but there's so many of those things that we never mention all of them, and I thought that's a good opportunity to start talking about that. And probably a smart thing to do is to make a series of videos about that in the future. But for now, look out, some companies overinflate their pricing on service charges. Always check those to avoid surprises. On to the next news. This news piece, once again from Gulf Business, is talking about the incredibly high prices some of Dubai rentals are fetching. Essentially, the discussion is that 7 figures, so over $1 million dirham rental, used to be a newsworthy event, right? Nowadays it is not. Nowadays there's multi-million dirham rentals available on the market at any given time, and it only makes sense with the prices of real estate rising, the prices of rentals rising. I complained last week that Dubai is getting too busy, and more demand means higher prices because the property supply doesn't keep up. That's good news for investors. We can see from this article it's 23% increase from the rental prices on average from last year, which means as a landlord this year you're making 23% more. Although, as mentioned earlier, the service charges are increasing and the costs of living in Dubai are increasing and other stuff. So obviously it's not exactly a linear increase every time, but it gives you an approximate idea, right? And I was predicting about 10% price increase. I was obviously very much off, but that's the way I am. I'm always very pessimistic with my predictions of market growth. That's a good surprise. That actually makes us consider rentals at some point. But that's a whole separate business from sales, and that needs to be set up later on in the future. But for you as a landlord, if you own something already, or you've been calculating last year, factor that in. If you're a landlord and you're making less than 20% more than you did last year, you're losing. Change your tenant. Oh, socialists would hate me for that one, right? Great news. That means the demand is strong for rentals, and that means that investment demand will remain relatively strong, that the rental market will remain fairly liquid. So little applause to Dubai for increasing the prices once again. And once again, as a renter, I absolutely hate it, but good on to our investors. That's a positive side. So that's about it. On to the next news. Okay, so this piece of news requires special inspiration, and I need some inspirational imagery to surround me, of course, because, quoting the gentleman presenting it, affordable luxury is no longer an aspiration, it's reality, all right? So this will inspire generations in the future, all right? Perfect. So, the developer I never heard about called Vincitore Realty, definitely not coming from Rome, although having a Latin name, unveils a new development, and it has everything you would ever want, including the golden horse in your pool, of course, golden Victorian style balusters on your balcony, and well, marble balusters and the golden Victorian style lighting fixtures. Oh wow, wow. All right. So, put it simply, some guys bought some land plots and designed something so obnoxious. It's incredible. Honestly, last time we had a project suggested like that in Dubai was it 2008, 2009. And nowadays, obviously, nobody gonna have that in their home. Nobody would want that in their home. And honestly, this article is obviously a promotional one, and I understand the guys want to enter the market and want to leave the mark, and all the props to them for trying to improve their business, try to build a bigger business. I respect that greatly, but for God's sake, can you make some research, see what's selling, see what the modern design trends are, and what is the product people are expecting, and what is the standard? And can you please invest some time spent on rendering so you have reasonable renders which don't look like they've been made on Nintendo 64? For God's sake, people, please do better. Please do better. I mean, I'm done. On to the next news. Next into the news is Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran is next into the news. So we got the news on the ticket prices. I don't know why everybody's excited that much for Ed Sheeran, but they start at 500 dirhams. 495 actually, but what's the difference? And I mean, all the disrespect, you deserve to lose this money if you want to see Ed Sheeran. Shouldn't be watching that. Don't like it. Can we bring somebody nice, somebody actually fun to do a concert? Why the hell would you go to Ed Sheeran concert? If you're going, please reconsider your life.
Oh, your eyes still smile from your cheeks. And darling, I will be loving you till 70.
So, in the news today, over 63,500 e-scooter permits being given out in 18 months in Dubai. Those permits are being issued after certain tests and whatever, but let's be honest, if you drive like I do, you hate e-scooter users. If you walk like everybody does, you hate e-scooter users. If you cycle like some people do, although I'm not sure how you do it with Dubai's climate, whoever does it is a hero, you hate e-scooter users. I think what they should give out is not permits, but deportation notices, but oh well. The moment you declare you want to ride a scooter, should be deported. But on a serious note, it comes with a awareness course. At least people fill in the course and pass the course on basic understanding of rules of the road, and maybe they will act safer, because I see a lot of e-scooter drivers doing very dangerous stuff with their e-scooters on the roads. Not once and not twice, but I think 3 or 4 times, I would go on an off-ramp and see a person driving the wrong side of the road on the e-scooter in the darkness with no reflective gear at night. The only reason they didn't end up as my hood ornaments is luck. I'm not sure why people are not considering the basic self-preservation, but if this course will teach them that, more than welcome. Then it's probably good news, because they're going to ride e-scooters anyway, right? We're not getting away from it. But quite honestly, we should be stricter on e-scooter regulations, just to save people and save drivers from trauma of hitting an e-scooter driver who just didn't know how to use a public road, really. Anyway, on to better news. Dubai real estate deals hit 10.3 billion this week. We always see those crazy numbers. As I mentioned before, they're heavily dependent if somebody bought some expensive plots for their developments or not. If somebody launched an extremely expensive development, and once again, that would inflate the deals. This week was pretty high. We had a lot of plot sales and we had a lot of transactions on apartments and villas. Honestly, this time it being that high is fairly surprising because outside of heaven last week, this week I don't think we had any huge launches really to speak of. Maybe another launch of plots in Jebel Ali. Palm Jebel Ali would inflate this number, of course, but even that would not account to it. So without me having any better ideas, I would say just a good sign. Great news. On to the next one. Without me having any better ideas, I would say just a good sign. Great news. On to the next one. Another good news is Dubai real estate prices show average rise for 11th consecutive quarter. Great news. We expected it. I'm really just reiterating. Market's growing slower, which is a good thing. Please stop panicking, because every week I hear somebody screaming from whatever happened, and that will cause the collapse of the whole thing. Every week somebody is expecting it's all gonna come falling down. Honestly, at this point, it's just your anxiety disorder speaking. Don't worry about that. On to the next news. And finally, the most important bit of the news, we finally have the list of the hottest restaurant openings in 23. So this year, a lot of new restaurants entered the scene in Dubai, and city is growing, culinary scene is growing. Let's see what Time Out Dubai sees as the hottest, and see if I've seen any of them or been to any of them. So November, they have a 777 with a vintage arcade in it, and they don't allow kids into this arcade, so I'm on board already. I love that. Haven't been there, but that's in plans. They even have the motorbike racing games with the motorbikes, which I will probably break with my weight, but worth it. October is 42 Midtown. Never been there. They say it's New York inspired, so it's kind of hipsterish, steak-like thing, I assume. Should check it out. Interior looks very nice and looks promising, and the area is kind of cool. Avatar, I heard about it. It's the first in the world Indian vegetarian fine dining destination. I'm not vegetarian, but I have nothing against vegetarian, and maybe when I get vegetarian guests, that would be at top of my list. But that's definitely high on my list already to visit. Chefs, haven't been there, haven't heard. It's a smokehouse, tired of smokehouses. Do Gastro Bar, haven't heard. Limonata by Lucia's, nice casual place, pretty cool. Luna Rossa, I think I've been there once. Great Italian cuisine. Madeleine and Marcel, don't care for it. Don't have a sweet tooth, don't like sweets. Tiffany's Cafe, of course I'm not gonna go in Tiffany's branded cafe. Sure, they make good jewelry to never give to your wife but give to your lover, but what they know about food. Uchi is great, yeah, absolutely. Jin, never been there. Jimmy, never heard. Yamarosa, it's a huge list actually, so we'll just attach it and you guys read it, because it's getting out of hand. It's too many restaurants. God, it keeps going and going. Guys, there's like 100. Anyway, the last one I need to highlight is Krasota Dubai. It comes from Moscow, and it's Gastro Theater, and it's incredible Gastro Theater. I've already been to a number of their shows in Moscow and in Dubai, and there's absolutely nothing to say except for it's stunning. It's a complete next level of immersive experience, and it got to be seen to be believed. Look, it's worth traveling to Dubai just to go to Krasota. That's the end of the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Press the bell icon, that really helps. And Thank you for making it that far. Really, not many people do. And see you next week.